Today we're going to have a look at solving equations. Here's an example of an equation we need to solve, and by solve I mean find out what value x has. So x minus 2 times by 8 is the same as x times 4 add 6. So this is an example of a linear equation. It's probably the most difficult type of linear equation you might be expected to solve at foundation GCSE level. So that's people aiming for up to grade 4 and grade 5. So in old money that's a grade C or a pass. So you'd found that these on towards the end of the foundation GCSE paper or kind of towards the middle of the higher GCSE paper. So the first thing we need to do is expand these brackets, expand this expression here. So multiply both of these values by 8. So we get 8x minus 16. So that's an operation that applies to the left hand side, the right hand side remains the same. And now we need to start balancing this equation. We need to find out what value x takes, and we can see these two expressions are equivalent, they're the same, so we need to do this. Whatever we do on the left hand side we need to also do on the right hand side. So the problem here is we've got 8 lots of my unknown number here and 4 lots of my unknown number here. So I'm going to subtract the smallest value of x from both sides, take away 4x. The arrows are just to help us see what's happening. So that gives me 4x minus 16. Notice the 16 remains unchanged. 4x minus 4x is 0, so that leaves me 6. So I've now got a two-step equation remaining. So 4 times a mystery number, take away 16 equals 6. So I've got to work backwards, I've got to use my inverse operations. So the inverse of subtracting 16 is adding 16. So that tells me that 4x, 4 lots of my number, is equal to 6 add 16, which gives me 22. So if 4 times my number is 22, to find out my number I need to divide by 4, and that will give me the answer, the value of x. So x equals 22 divided by 4. Now 22 is not in the 4 times table, so I might just need to do some division, use the bus stop method just to double check. So 4's into 2 don't go, so I'm going to do 4's into 22, which goes 5 times, because 4 times 5 is 20, and that gives me a remainder of 2 again. Now at GCSE, I wouldn't just write remainder 2, I'd need to change this to 22.0, which of course is the same value, but that can help me work out the decimal remainder. So I've put my decimal point there as well. So now 4's into 20 gives me 5. So my solution to this equation is 5.5. Whenever I'm solving equations, I can check that this answer is correct by going back to the start, and if I substitute in 5.5 here, so 4 times 5.5 gives me 22, add 6 gives me 28. I should get the same over here, so 5.5 take away 2 gets me 3.5. If I do 8 times 3.5, that also gets me 28. So that tells me the solution 5.5 must be correct.